This is my discussion slash review for 911 Lone Star Season 4, Episode 7, titled Tommy Dearest. And Tommy don't play. Let's talk about it.
Live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings, I'm a big fine.
Cases this episode really weren't that important, but the one with the chick and the pacemaker was a little funny when they had to keep her upside down because of the pacemaker's connectivity. But the story this episode was Tommy and Melody don't get along with each other. Now we see that Pastor Trevor and Tommy have finally got to the stage where they're trying to tell each other's daughters that they're in a relationship, that they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And now we're at this point to where the twins are okay with it, but Melody's not, and she ain't having Tommy fooling with her daddy. Now, the reason behind it is because we learned at the later part of the episode is she misses her mom, and she was upset at her dad because he had a new girlfriend, and that kind of solidified that him and her mom weren't going to get back together. She knows this deep down, but she's a little kid and she wants her mom and dad together because she misses her mom. But we see this episode going back and forth with her and Tommy kind of competing with each other because she came right off rip, was like, you gonna break up with my dad and you have 24 hours to do it. That little girl, she was like on a war path with Tommy. But Tommy didn't want to give up, so the next night they decided to have a date and go out and enjoy each other's company, her and the pastor. And Grace was babysitting his daughter for him. And next thing you know, she calls with a stomach ache. She's just not feeling the best. And Tom was like, oh, no. This is fine. I have a remedy for you. What I like that, she was so adamant about it, but she didn't take her father's feelings into account because her father really actually cares for Tommy and Tommy cares for her father. Now, we see them going back and forth with it, and, Tommy mixed up this whole concoction to have her drink. And I got to give dedication to Melody, man. That chick, she took that drink, took it straight to the head, man. Like, she was down in it like it was nobody's business. Pickle juice, milk, horseradish, Tabasco salt. Like, there was just so much stuff in it. And she chugged it like it was nobody's business. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it, man. I would have gagged on the first sip or the smell alone. But she took it like a champ, and she played this whole little play out. And, her and Tommy were going back and forth. And we see that Judd and Grace both are looking at Tommy and was like, well, come on, Tommy. This isn't the right thing to do. You're battling a little kid. And Melody comes to the firehouse to still come after Tommy. You're like, hey, I gave you a date. Then you tried to play me. This ends now. And she recorded her after they were having their conversation when Tommy admitted that she slept with her husband's brother. Now, well, Julius. But the thing with that is, the little girl is slick, man. She convinced Tommy that her daughters talked about it and made it like a big thing, and Tommy had no choice but to confess, and she recorded it, the process. Oh my gosh, this little girl is something else, man. I did not see this coming. But it was funny nonetheless. And instead of being blackmailed, Tommy decided to come and tell Pastor Trevor everything and put all her cards on the table. And like I said, when it actually happened in the series, that's gonna never not be weird, man. That's never not weird. Like Tommy sleeping with Julius. Sure, they're both grieving, they're both hurt, and I get the process, but it's still freaking weird that she slept with him, man. And I don't know. It's at least it came out. She finally put it out there in the open, and she doesn't have to worry about being blackmailed. But this time, Melody comes out with her stomach actually hurting. She's actually in pain. It's not a trick this time, and it comes out that she it's that time of the month for her, and she really didn't have any way to kind of really sort through that because her mom's not there. It's just her and her dad. But Tommy was there, and Tommy was able to help her in a very pivotal moment in a young girl's life. So I really like that the entire episode we see them kind of going back and forth with each other, and when all of their cards are laid out on the table, they both kind of end up being honest with each other, and they have a moment and they make a connection with each other. And at the ending of the episode, we see them having a family outing, and they're all just enjoying each other's company. The twins gain a new sister, Melody gains a new sister. As of right now, we don't know how it's going to play out entirely, but as of right now, it's a wonderful thing, man, and we'll have to see how it goes, because as of right now, DB Woodside is still slated as a guest star. But I actually really enjoy it, man. Because we could tell that I'm assuming over the course of the last couple episodes that they've still been dating. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen it on screen, but they've still been dating because if they're at this point in their relationship, they've been dating, but it's been off screen. So big ups to that, man. We see Paul dealing with the HR lady, and let's be 100%. The HR lady is absolutely gorgeous, man. She's very, very pretty. But this episode, we see that Paul and her are having a back and forth. They're texting nonstop. They're having a wonderful time, and everybody in the firehouse can see that. So they kind of push Paul up to go out on a date with her. And while they're on the date, the chick is she's enjoying herself, but she's also stuck about reminiscing of the past, and Paul doesn't want to reminisce in the past because he's trying to move forward ever since his transition. Now, watching this episode, for me, I felt like Paul, sure, he's got a lot of baggage and a lot of stuff to deal with, but I felt like the chick knew that Paul transitioned, and she knows all this stuff. That's a given, and she's not worried about it. She actually just likes Paul. Paul was the one that was still having a problem with it because like he mentioned this episode, you know, she's knocking on these doors, and these are doors that Paul doesn't want open, and we'll have to see how it plays out over the course of the season. But I'm really liking the fact that Paul found somebody, in the fact that, you know, he was having a hard time dealing with it, but Owen kind of talked him into it, because Owen kind of gave him some perspective about how he was feeling about a similar situation with himself, you know, about not living in the past and not wanting to dwell on the past. You have to move forward. And at the ending of the episode, we see Paul playing basketball with everybody else. And it was mentioned that, you know, hey, he used to love basketball when he was a kid, but now, you know, it was a part of his old life. He didn't want to dwell on basketball. He shut that door, but now they opened it, and we end this episode on a high note with everybody having a good time. Now, the episode in whole, it wasn't like action packed or super progressive to the story or anything like that. I feel like it was a stopgap for, you know, maybe something else that's upcoming in episode 8 or 9 or whatever in the rest of the series. But it felt like a stopgap. It's not a bad episode because I still have fun with 911 Lone Star, man. But this episode was just like that I don't want to say mediocre, that medium in between episode that you get before you dive into something else hardcore. Overall, I still enjoyed it. It was a nice, fun episode, and it was nice to see Tommy battling the kid until Gracie had to tell her, you know, battling a kid ain't really the greatest idea, Tommy. But I loved it, and I cannot wait for episode 8, man. This is Wordic Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash any more. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe. Peace out.
I cannot complain because today, yeah, I'm doing my thing.